Breaking tonight. Meghan Markle's emotional message to King Charles leaves viewers in tear. A camera flash. A tear. Silence. The palace lights were dim. The cameras were gone. And then, Meghan spoke. Not to the world, not to the press, but to King Charles himself. A message no one expected. One that left millions in tears. Because what she said tonight changes everything. 1. The message no one saw coming. It began quietly. No statement from the palace. No press release. Just a short video, filmed from California. Meghan, sitting in a sunlit garden, voice trembling but steady. Her words were simple, but carried the weight of years. She began with gratitude, then apology, then something even deeper, forgiveness. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't public relations. It was personal. And as her voice broke, millions of viewers felt it too, that rare glimpse of raw humanity in a story the world thought it already knew. But why now? Why this message, and why to Charles? To understand that, you have to go back to where the silence began. 2. The years of distance. When Harry and Meghan left royal life in 2020, they didn't just step away from duty. They stepped away from family. The Queen tried to keep peace, but after her passing in 2022, the distance grew colder. Phone calls unanswered. Invitations unspoken. And every headline made it worse. Harry wanted reconciliation. But Charles, now king, had a nation to lead, and a legacy to protect. The divide became more than personal. It became symbolic, tradition versus change, silence versus truth. And through it all, Meghan stayed quiet. Critics said it was strategy. But friends knew, it was self-preservation. Until tonight. Because what Meghan shared wasn't anger. It was something the royal family rarely shows, vulnerability. 3. The moment she spoke. Her message wasn't long, barely 5 minutes. But every second felt like a lifetime. She spoke of Archie's laughter, of Lilibet's first words, Papa. And then she paused. She said, I want them to know where they come from. Who they come from. Her eyes welled up. She smiled through tears. And then, she spoke directly to Charles. I know the past has been painful, she said softly. But I want my children to know the love of their grandfather. If not for me, then for them. The line hit like thunder. Because for years, the world assumed Meghan wanted distance. But now, in one message, she asked for connection. 4. The world reacts. Within minutes, social media exploded. Clips went viral. Meghan forgives Charles, trended worldwide. Some called it a calculated move. Others, a heartfelt plea. But nearly everyone agreed on one thing. It was emotional. In Spain, royal commentators said it showed the modern face of compassion. In the UK, tabloids struggled to decide, was it genuine or PR genius? In America, fans flooded the comments, this is the Meghan we've missed. And in Denmark, a country with its own royal drama, news anchors drew parallels between royal silence and generational healing. But amid all the noise, one question echoed. Would Charles respond? 5. Behind the palace walls. Sources close to Buckingham Palace described the moment King Charles saw the video. He was at Clarence House, alone, between meetings. An aide brought in an iPad. He pressed play. And as Meghan's voice filled the room, the king reportedly went quiet. Very quiet. Charles, who has long been torn between duty and emotion, understood something in that moment. This wasn't rebellion anymore. It was redemption. He saw not a duchess or a headline, but the woman his son loved. The mother of his grandchildren. The one who wanted to bridge the gap he thought would never close. But the palace, ever cautious, stayed silent. No statement. No official reply. Yet insiders whispered that the king was deeply moved. That he wiped away tears. And that for the first time in years, he considered reaching out. 6. The message between the words. To many, Meghan's speech sounded like an olive branch. But beneath her words was a deeper message, about legacy. She wasn't just asking for reconciliation. She was asking for change. For the royals to evolve, to connect, to feel. She said, forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It redeems the future. It was poetic, painful, and unmistakably personal. Because for Meghan, forgiveness isn't weakness, it's freedom. And for Charles, that freedom might be the only way to truly honor his mother's legacy. The late Queen often said, reconciliation is the highest form of grace. And tonight, Her words seemed to echo through Meghan's own. 7. The family reaction. Harry's reaction. According to a close friend, tears. He'd known about the message, but not the full version she planned to release. When he watched it beside her, he reportedly said, "That's exactly what Mum would have wanted." William, however, remains a mystery. Palace insiders say he's wary, that every public gesture from Harry and Meghan feels too public. Yet even he couldn't ignore the sincerity of her tone. Kate, ever the peacekeeper, is said to have told friends that it took courage. And in her quiet way, she sent Meghan a short note, "You were heard." If true, it's the most significant thaw between the couple since the Queen's funeral. 8. The viewers' tears. As the video spread, comments poured in from every corner of the world. A mother in London wrote, "I never thought I'd cry watching Meghan Markle speak, but here I am." A grandmother in Madrid said, "She's doing what so many of us wish we could, reaching out after years of silence." And across America, even longtime critics softened. Because whatever one's opinion of the Duchess, her emotion was undeniable. It wasn't about fame, it was about family, about healing. And that, more than any title, is something everyone understands. 9. What happens next? Will King Charles respond? That's the question on every headline tonight. Royal insiders say a private call may already be in the works. If so, it would mark the first direct conversation between Meghan and the King since 2021. Some believe it could lead to a reunion, perhaps a quiet Christmas invitation, away from the cameras. Others warn the institution will resist, fearing more headlines, more emotion, more change. But one thing is certain, the wall of silence has cracked. And when the royal family faces its greatest test, it may be love, not loyalty, that repairs it. 10. The power of words. Tonight, Meghan reminded the world of something bigger than royalty. That forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means choosing peace when pain feels easier. She said, "Family is complicated. Ours just happens to be televised." And with that one line, she disarmed an entire narrative. Because for all the pomp and protocol, what people crave most isn't perfection. It's honesty. It's heart. It's the courage to speak when silence has gone on too long. Epilogue. A new chapter begins. In a world divided by opinions and headlines, Meghan's message felt different. It wasn't polished. It wasn't political. It was personal. And maybe, just maybe, it's the message that will bring this fractured family one step closer to healing. Because behind the crowns, behind the cameras, behind the years of pain, they're still just people, trying to love, to forgive, and to move forward. And perhaps that's why, tonight, millions are crying with them. If forgiveness can find its way to Buckingham Palace, it can find its way anywhere. Call to action. Only 1 in 10 viewers here is subscribed. If you believe in stories of love, truth, and healing, join this community. Because the next royal message might change everything again.